Hi everybody, this is Angel Arts, and today I have another reaction video for you on the most recent Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer. It dropped earlier this week, and I only am just now having a chance to actually sit down and watch it. It's a bit longer than the teaser trailer. I would love to be able to see more characters, more parts of the world, maybe a summon or two, maybe. Um, and so this is just going to be my initial thoughts on it. So here we go. Here we go. Oh, there's Eris. And her theme song. Eris is so pretty. I love that music. Oh, and the pan out. This is the classic title intro where you pull out and you see Midgar for the very first time. I remember seeing Midgar and this whole sequence for the very first time back in the original, and it was just, oh, this is gorgeous. Absolute gorgeous upgrade.
These sewer rats appear to call themselves Avalanche, sir.
Shinra. Oh, the motorcycle.
You can have it for saving my life.
Materia. We gotta first look at Materia.
You think he's a keeper?
Oh my god.
I love the music so much. The battle music. One of the best
Look at the big
battle
picture here.
music
Nothing worth fighting for was ever won without sacrifice.
of any game.
Help me!
Nice. We got some magic. We've got some limit breaks. Yeah, cross slash. Tifa! And Marlene. I'm glad we got to see more characters. Tifa's got some abs. Excuse me, girl.
I heard you're having second thoughts.
I know we have to think big if we're going to make a difference. But not like this. I feel trapped.
Do we get to see Tifa fight as well?
My turn.
I'm just really happy that Tifa looks a lot more anatomically proportionate. Let me just say that.
Get going.
Yes! Nice! Oh yeah! Beautiful.
Got you now!
Nice. Oh, this is so... I love this. The original soundtrack sounds amazing, updated. There he is. Oh boy.
Cloud, I have a favor to ask of you. Run away. You have to leave. You have to live.
Yes.
Hold on to that hatred.
I'm loving it. March 3rd, 2020. Available worldwide. Chocobo chick. Oh, that looks beautiful. Deluxe edition. Oh, it's very tempting. Oh. Oh. Is that pre-order now for first class edition exclusively from Square Enix store? Ooh, I'm gonna have to look into that. There are very few games that I end up deciding to do the collector's edition purchase for. I only do it for games that I truly believe in, that I am just a huge fan of, and And I feel like this is the game where I actually will be doing the collector's edition or whatever, the ultimate edition, whatever that is. Because I just love the original so much, and based on the trailers, I am going to be shocked if I don't love this one, because it feels similar to how I felt when I was watching the trailers for the Resident Evil 2 remake. I was ecstatic to see the remake for Resident Evil 2 in forms of trailers, and when I finally got the game, I was not disappointed. So I know that a lot of people tend to be very conservative about that, especially if they've been burned in the past by other games of a certain franchise. Totally understand. Fortunately, knock on wood, I have never purchased the collector's edition of a video game and regretted it. I don't think I've ever regretted getting the collector's edition of any video game. So I have a gut feeling that, my streak, I've had a pretty good streak so far. So I'm looking forward to that. But about the trailer itself, they showed us a lot more. We got to hear more of the soundtrack, and I really am happy that they kept the original soundtrack, but elevated it and updated it, which is different from how they did it in Resident Evil 2. In Resident Evil 2, very few of the soundtrack in Resident Evil 2 was repeated from the original with an upgrade. But it was fine because they gave the Resident Evil 2 remake, the option, at least for the people who got like the deluxe edition, I think, the option to switch over to the original Resident Evil 2 soundtrack, which was so worth it, which was so worth the extra money for me for the Ultimate Edition, because I still preferred the original soundtrack of Resident Evil 2 and would have loved if they kept a lot of the original soundtrack but then updated it and elevated it. And that's what they did here for Final Fantasy VII, and I'm so happy and so glad, because there's so many great things about Final Fantasy VII that makes it memorable, and the soundtrack is one of them. And there's just something so nostalgic about listening to that, that battle music and the boss music, and just allowing us to hear it again, but in this generation, it's just going to be magical. I also really loved that we got to see other characters like Tifa, and again, it sounds like a joke, but in all seriousness, I'm very, very pleased and happy that they decided to design Tifa in a way that was more anatomically accurate, because some of those cutscenes in Final Fantasy VII with Tifa were like, Tifa? I wasn't sure about that. Maybe some other fans didn't mind so much, and I totally understand that. Totally understand if you didn't mind the anatomic gratuitousness that was Tifa's model, even though, when you look at it right now, it's probably a bit boxier than what we remember. But at any rate, it was just cool to see her in action. We get to see more of the fight sequences. One of the things that, of course, that I noticed is that they updated the battle so that it doesn't seem like at least the traditional, what do you call it? Timed. There's a word for it, but like, you know what I'm talking about. In the older Final Fantasy games where there's a meter, and your characters are on one side of the screen and the monsters on the other side of the screen, and when the meter fills up, it's your turn to act, and so on and so forth. They've kind of, with recent Final Fantasies, they've gotten rid of that and wanted the fights to be more dynamic, and I get it, because it's a lot more realistic and it's a lot more exciting for players. I'm pretty old school, so I didn't mind at all the original. In fact, I liked it a lot, because I'm not a fast-paced gamer at all. I like having the ability to stop time or at least have things more manageable. But that's just not how the gaming industry is moving nowadays with these at least types of games. So, but one of the things that I was hoping for was the ability to switch the characters that you controlled. Because I love Cloud to death, don't get me wrong, but I love the other characters too, and I wanted to be able to control Tifa and Eris and Barrett and all the other characters. I want to be able to control them too. It's one of the things that I do dislike about games like Mass Effect, because in Dragon Age, for example, which was also made by BioWare, the same people who made Mass Effect, in Dragon Age you can switch between characters, and I love that because I I love my main character, but to be perfectly honest, I normally prefer playing the other characters that are not my main character because they're just so fun to play. And so that was one of the things that I missed from Mass Effect 3 is that you only really play as Shepard and you can give commands to the other characters. But I would much prefer personally having the chance to switch off and actually directly control the other squad members myself, just because it's fun to like switch things up and not always be playing one character. That's one thing that I love about the Final Fantasy games is in the Final Fantasy games you did get to play, as different characters. And one thing that I didn't like about the previous Final Fantasy game is that you only controlled Noctis, and you didn't really get to control any of the other characters, and that was a bummer for me because I thought being able to control the other characters and switching off would have been a lot of fun. But it seems like they're coming back to that with this game because I'm pretty sure the camera was like centering on Eris and Tifa, and I'm hoping it's not like, I don't know if it's been confirmed, but I'm hoping that means we do get to control the other characters and not just Cloud. I feel like it would make sense because they've got limit breaks and they've got spells and all these other things, and just having the ability to control them in addition to just Cloud would be amazing. So yeah, there's that. Oh, I just thought of something, but unfortunately I can't say it, which kind of assuages any fears that I had about controlling other characters, because if I say it, it kind of would spoil the story for those of you who hadn't actually played the story of Final Fantasy VII. So I'm not going to say anything more than that, but maybe those of you who have played the game know what I'm talking about, so I'm just going to move on. Yeah, I love the designs. I love seeing, hearing the voice acting. I love the look of the characters in general. There were a lot of comments on the design of Eris specifically and her face, and I think many of the people in Japan tended to like her face, prefer her face one way versus the other way, because there were like in earlier trailers of Final Fantasy VII Remake, like years ago. We got to see Eris's face, and it's been updated since then. And I don't remember which one the Japanese tended to favor more versus the Americans, but there definitely seems like now there is a big certain a lot of the Japanese culture seems to favor one over the other, and America seems to prefer the opposite. And I feel like, if I remember correctly, I feel like the Japanese preferred the younger looking Eris. But I don't know, maybe I'm just partial, but I kind of like the one that makes her look a bit older and looks more like her age. But I totally get that in Japanese culture, they have a tendency to really favor younger looking men and women. If you are a male or female who looks younger, a lot of the beauty culturally in Japan is centered around that, so I totally get that. And while some of that might be true in America as well, or even other parts of the world, I feel like it's not as prevalent in America, and therefore I really appreciate, characters who are, supposed to be older actually look their age to some degree. So yeah. I honestly didn't really notice that much of a difference at the end of the day, really, until it was really pointed out to me. And then once I got to see like freeze frame shots of each one side by side, I was like, okay, well, if you were to force me to pick one or the other, I can give a slight preference, but I didn't really notice it, honestly, until it was formally pointed out to me. So yeah, I want to see more. I want to see more, and I guess for me it's okay to see more because nothing's gonna spoil me story wise. Story wise, nothing's gonna spoil me unless they decide to completely like change parts of the game around plot wise. But I feel like they wouldn't do that for a remake. They might change certain aspects of it, like the motorcycle part looks awesome and amazing, and I'm excited for that. But yeah, March 2020. I definitely want to play it, and I want to let's play it. We shall see how realistic that will be. I think I'm going to attempt it, and the only reason why I'm saying I'm going to attempt it is because by that point I will be a daddy. I'll be a daddy at that point, and probably will have a lot of responsibility looking at a kid. And Final Fantasy VII is not a short game, so I'm gonna figure something out. Hopefully, obviously priorities, families first. I think that's one thing that has to be very apparent, is that family is first. But Colin and I want to try to be able to we wanted to be able to support each other in ways that would allow us to at least keep some things that we enjoy doing, to be able to do, some of our hobbies still and maintain some of the hobbies to some degree, because I think that's important. Your kids should definitely 100% be first, but I feel like if you can let yourself do something for yourself once in a while, I think it benefits not only you but your whole family too, because you're able to still enjoy life and appreciate the moments that you have in addition to the moments of your family. And if there's a way to balance the two in a very healthy way, we'll see. We'll try it and see how that goes. So anyway, that's what I have. Thank you guys so much for watching this reaction, and until next time, everybody, love yourselves and love each other. Bye.